Ladies and gentlemen, we are with the one and only Al Snow for WrestlingInc.com, certainly WWE legend, ECW alum, and so many other promotions in between. And Al, we want to say thank you for taking the time to talk to us here on WrestlingInc.com.
Well, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you having me on and giving me the time.
Yeah, well, thank you, Al. And first and foremost, I mean, this has really taken the wrestling world by storm. The Collar Elbow brand, the clothing line that you have. I mean, tell us more about it. How has this taken off? I mean, it's really just Survivor Series just happened, and there was a fan in the front row, sure enough, wearing the Collar Elbow brand.
Yeah, and I'm just couldn't be happier, really thrilled with the reaction to it. We've got a long way to go to get where we want to be, but it's been a great start. I mean, we only just started debuted the brand in July, and it's taken right off. And I think a large part of that is that we made the brand to represent everyone's love for wrestling. And I've been a professional wrestler for 35 years, but ultimately I've been a fan of wrestling, for far, far longer, and still am. My being involved in professional wrestling hasn't changed how much of a fan I am of it one bit. And in fact, I think it's actually made me more of a fan. And wanted to create a brand, a wrestling brand, kind of like football has Under Armour and basketball has Nike, and they all have their own particular brands, and the fans of those particular sports wear those brands, and they kind of identify to each other. Hey, I'm a fan of that particular sport, so I thought, why not do something like that for wrestling, and try to create designs that you could wear anywhere, and if you were around some people that weren't per se wrestling fans, you wouldn't get the, hey, what do you like that, the still steak type of thing, just because you wore a nice shirt. But you could, but if another fan saw you and they would recognize, something like collar and elbow, and what it means, then you would, you'd have something to share. And, we wanted to do cool designs that, whether you're a wrestling fan or not, you'd like, and on T-shirts that, and apparel that are really comfortable to wear. And because I wanted really high quality T-shirts, because I was like, look, if I'm going to have to wear these things, I don't want some big, heavy, thick cotton shirt that I have to wear around. So, and that's what we've done. We've put it out there, and collarandelbowbrand.com. It's been great, and it's also been a way for us to, in our marketing plan, we do a thing called a sponsored athlete, which, some people have, gotten in with the semantics of it, but, basically, the independent wrestlers can get a shirt. They can get their business cards, stickers, and they get a discount code that's associated directly with them. And for every piece of apparel that's sold, they make $5 for every single piece of apparel that's sold. So, if they sell 100 pieces of apparel, they make $500. And it's a way for them to augment their income, and maybe help them make it a little easier to survive on the independents. For those guys that don't have haven't been on a major like WWE or something like that, they can have that avenue, another revenue stream. And then we also give the option to our customers that they can round up their purchase, and all of that money is contributed to Cauliflower Alley Club and to help their ongoing charitable efforts with former wrestlers.
Boy, Al, it sounds excellent. And you want to talk about giving back to not just, the people who helped you, but the fans and, the guys that are coming up. It certainly speaks volumes about what, you guys are trying to do. And speaking of helping out the next generation, the Al Snow Wrestling Academy, compare this training center to how you were brought up in the 80s.
Well, in the 80s, there weren't training centers. There weren't, schools or things like that. It was pretty much, it was very difficult for you to, talk somebody into training you, because basically when they did, train you, they were held responsible for everything you did in the wrestling business.
Right.
And guys weren't too keen on that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you could convince them they didn't have a building or anything like that was set up just for training. So a lot of times you just went to a local YMCA or, places of that nature to, get broken in and learn the fundamentals and the basics of professional wrestling. The real training, and still to this day, the real training happens when you're out performing in front of an audience. That's where your real education takes place. And, you learn the basics and the fundamentals at a quote-unquote training center so that you can then go out and safely perform in front of an audience and also not kill the business of what's being conducted that night, so that you can go out and learn in front of an audience. That's the real training. And that never stops. I've been wrestling for 35 years, and I still constantly learning every time I perform.
Still learning, yeah. That's the name of the game. So they say, is just keep evolving as a performer, as a trainer, and everything else in between. But so you've kind of in your career, you spanned everywhere. ECW, Smoky Mountain, mid-90s, you landed WWE, an Avatar character. Recently, you said that you wish you did more with that. You didn't realize the opportunity you had with that particular character. I guess describe that. I mean, looking back on it now, obviously you're a younger talent at that point.
Sure. Yeah, anytime that you're, put in a position on TV, no matter what it is you're doing, it is an opportunity. And, that's not a wrestling match. That's a commercial for you to sell yourself. And, if I'd known then what I know now, I could have probably made far more of that opportunity than what I did at that time. And it's just one of those disappointments, which we all go through with the hindsight to 2020. Mm-hmm. It was any chance with the WWE in any form is an incredible opportunity, and that one was. And I wish that, like I said, that I'd had the understanding that I do now, and then I would have been able to capitalize far greater on that opportunity.
Yeah, we were talking earlier on the phone a little bit, and kind of bringing up a memory of independent show outside Harrisburg a couple years ago, and I had a chance to interview you then. But it was such a crazy show. The Independence is almost like anything goes at times.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It really does, man. And I know that, I think that, like there were guys helping each other out on the grill out back, and, it was just one of those things. But when you compare those types of shows, and obviously one of your big breaks that you had was with the New Rockers, Marty Jannetty. You guys had tried to, I guess, recreate some history with the original Rockers with Shawn Michaels, and and that team. But certainly that was a break. But really, the big break was ECW, the Mannequin Head. We all remember that. Why did that work so well? How did that come about? The Mannequin Head.
Well, it worked so well because it gave a voice to the frustration I had at that time. Not that the frustration was warranted, but it certainly was. And for whatever reason, I was very frustrated, very aggravated, and very indignant. And as a result, that I put a lot of into the character. Whenever I would talk to the head, I would make, comments and remarks and, things that I would normally not be able to say, I would do as if the head were saying it. And that's why it worked, was because it was really me, and people, the audience could tell, they could relate and they could connect to it. And it gave me finally, after, at that time, 15 years or whatever, it gave me a definable personality, a definable character, that I had not had before, because of, I was like known as the best kept secret in wrestling or whatever, and that's great. It's very much a compliment, but the reason that nobody really knew of me was because you couldn't really describe me. It was like, oh, he's really good. Well, okay, but that doesn't motivate a common, just a casual fan to want to go to watch you. And that ultimately is, my job as a wrestler is to motivate somebody to want to leave their house and come see me, to any degree. And, without being able to describe that you and relate to who you are, they won't do it. So, that creating that head character was the key. It allowed me to finally, have a definable personality that, people could describe in a sentence or less to their friends and family and go, oh, you got to go see this guy. He's crazy. You never know what he's going to do. He carries his head to the ring and he talks to it, and then he hits people with it. And, and that is intriguing. That makes, somebody go, hey, that's interesting. He does what? And then it, it makes them want to come and see it, if nothing else, just out of curiosity.
Yeah. And is it true that how the mannequin head, it was like, how it came about was, I guess, let the truth be known right now, right? That it was like a placeholder for Mick Foley's masks at times. Is that the truth?
No, it was what it was quite a while ago. We were riding in a car together, and it was Sid Vicious, Bob Holly, myself, and Mick. And Mick was playing around with a styrofoam head that had he'd carry his mask on, and he was making like it was going to be his girlfriend or whatever, just, making, lewd comments and stuff. And, at the time when I was there in ECW, I was reading books on abnormal psychology to try and portray that I had lost my mind. I tried a bunch of different things, and none of them worked. In the back, taking pictures for the Japanese photographers and some other photographers with Sasuke, and I saw a styrofoam head and remembered him doing that. And I remembered a woman who had paranoid schizophrenia with transference disorder. And I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to treat this head as if it's alive and it's a real person, and, take it to the ring with me and talk to it and interact with it. And, and it's going to be crazy, not me. That's the thing is with the transference, is that you transfer your illness onto the inanimate objects that you hear your voices from. So you assume they're insane, not you. Like you're completely normal and healthy, and the voices that you hear are the crazy ones. Yeah. And so that was what I did, and thank God it worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked, and the fans had the heads all across arenas all across the country and the world, and you returned to the WWE, obviously, the Attitude Era, the Job Squad, Pin Me, Pay Me, all that stuff. Multiple-time hardcore champion as well. But to this day, fans, they still remember one particular match. Actually, obviously a couple different things, but one that sticks out match-wise was a show in Massachusetts, Hardcore Championship versus the Road Dogg. And you guys took it to the streets, man. You went outside in the snow. Can you remember that match in particular?
Oh, I remember it very well. We went out and, fell through the door and the alarm went off. And, the crowd went crazy as we were going outside. And, when we went outside, it was in the middle of a snowstorm. So, it was pretty wild. I just remember looking up and going, "Oh my God, it's snowing," and that was a pretty memorable moment. So, it was cool that I got to be a part of it.
Yeah, and some of these other moments. What about? I got to ask you this question: the Big Boss Man feud, Grade A Pepper. I mean, that was taken to another level on that one.
Yeah, that was inspired by Mr. Fuji, who had, in real life had apparently did that to a neighbor's dog that he didn't like.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah. So art imitates life.
Yes, it does, and the throwing salt as well, Fuji style.
Oh yeah. Along with the pepper.
Yeah, with the pepper and salt.
Yeah.
But fast forward a little bit now, you became one of the really big components of Tough Enough, the reality series. What was it like being a part of such a revolutionary show, really being vaulted into pop culture, that nothing really had been seen before like that when it hit in the early 2000s?
Yeah, it was unique, and it was one of the first of its kind, and I will be eternally grateful for getting to be a part of it. It was such a wonderful experience from every standpoint, and I could not be more thankful for getting to be a part of something like that. It was, I think, one of the best things that I've ever gotten the chance to do in professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm. And I know when you look back at a show like that, obviously everyone's there for the same reason, to make it, to get a chance, to get a shot. How difficult is it, having to, pick just one out of two out of so many great talents? I mean, it must be the hardest part of that type of job.
Oh, it's incredibly difficult, but you spend so much time with them, and you start to, learn who they really are. And sometimes, like I would tell them a lot of times, like, being picked, if it's not the right thing at the right time, is a mistake. And sometimes you're better served if you're not picked, and then you get an opportunity later, which, because of their talent and their ability, was, very confident that, all of them would eventually get that opportunity if they truly wanted it. But winning, per se, was not always the best thing, because along with that winning comes, a bunch of expectation. And if you're just not ready and can't quite live up to those, well, then, it's now not a blessing, but it's a curse. Mm-hmm. And you only have that one chance to make a first impression, and if you just, you're not prepared, then, you're better off to wait and to, be able to pull it all together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and certainly Tough Enough has just risen, year after year. It's really evolved into a great show, and you can obviously watch that on the network and things like that. But I didn't forget about this, Mick Foley. Your guys' relationship, what an interesting relationship, obviously, with the head.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And I who knows? He's a weird guy. He's like so obsessed with me. It's like every time you turn around, he's making some kind of remark or, some kind of statement in his books or on his, stand-up routine, or, practically people have told me that, they'll go to a stand-up show and he spends more time talking about me than he does anything else. Like,
yeah, man.
Flattered. Very flattered.
Maybe Mick, maybe that's like a saying that maybe Mick was, trying to be like you more than he thought,
I don't know. I really couldn't even imagine.
Well, Al, going to switch some gears here right now and talk about your time with Impact Wrestling. And, I mean, your thoughts on where Impact Wrestling is at right now as compared to, I guess when you first got there, where's it at right now?
Well, physically, I mean, it's in Canada. I mean, they've moved up the offices and the production up to Canada, away from Orlando and out of Nashville, Tennessee. And, other than that, I mean, I hope nothing but the best. As far as professional wrestling in general, we need everything, every promotion that we can to succeed and not just survive, but thrive. And, I'm hoping that they can do that and be an alternative and an option as far as for another place for the wrestlers to be able to work. And for the fans, to have a choice in as to what they want to watch and when they want to watch it. Because without that option, it's not that there's anything wrong with WWE, but let's face it, I mean, it's always good to have competition and always good to, in a marketplace to have variety and to have, different things that you can choose and select. And especially for the fans. And, so let's hope that they can make it and like I said, not just survive, but thrive and, hope that we can get a couple more promotions out there to do the same.
Yeah, right on, Al. And the thoughts on the rise of, you mentioned some of those other, the promotions that need to be out there for a competition's sake. I mean, New Japan and Ring of Honor. I mean, they're certainly two of the promotions out there that have really, created a unique perspective for their fan base. You got to respect where they're going, I think, at this point.
As long as it's successful and it works, and for them, then good, more for them. The number one rule in wrestling is if it sells tickets, do it.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as it motivates business, then by all means, definitely do it.
Excellent, Al. And what was your favorite regime, I guess program, during your time with Impact? Obviously, you were there for a number of years as well, aside from the hardcore division and being Al Snow in WWE. But what was your favorite time there during your Impact years?
Oh, I enjoyed the whole time I was there. It was, it was a different challenge, being more backstage and more of a producer. But I really enjoyed it. As far as in ring, the program that I did with Grado, the short little angle that I did with Grado out of the British boot camp setup, I thought was great. I really enjoyed that, and a lot of people really bought into it and believed it, even in this day and age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and certainly, the days, they say the money and the miles and the traveling and everything, it goes fast. And who do you enjoy watching most today in any promotion, WWE, Impact, Ring of Honor? Is there someone that sticks out to you that, man, that you probably, where you say, man, that guy or that lady, she just has it?
Well, I enjoy watching Cody Rhodes because I, broke him in from the ground up and taught him, all the way, from start to finish. So I couldn't be prouder for how he's doing.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well. We had a chance to work with Cody. He came up to a promotion out of Binghamton, New York, not that long ago, about 10 months ago, maybe about a year, I guess. But he came up, and I heard he's coming back again, which is always good. Did you have a favorite opponent in your time in wrestling? I think there's always one where you have that, you hear in wrestling where people say, you're only as good as your dance partner. And was there one person or any opponent, could have been Head, could have been Mannequin, right?
Yeah, it could have been, yeah. But no, I've had so many matches over so many years, it's hard to just pick one, guy and go, oh yeah, that guy was, that's my favorite opponent, because every time I had an opportunity to go in the ring, I loved it. It was nothing makes you feel more alive, and just, it's such an incredible experience to be out there and to be wrestling in front of an audience, and it's amazing. So, to say, oh well, this one match or this one guy, that's the one, but that's tough because, boy, every time I went out there, it was a blast.
Yeah, Al, and obviously, probably at this point of your career, 35 years, you're talking, hundreds, thousands matches you've kind of seen and been a part of, and it's certainly been a blessed career when you look back on it, and certainly still going. What was your favorite time of the business? Was it? You had so many great pinnacle moments and times, whether it was the Attitude Era in the hardcore division, or whether it was, the Prodigy music blasting for ECW. Is there a particular time that you maybe enjoyed the most?
I would have to say that, probably when I was in ECW, I really enjoyed it a lot. And, that and the Tough Enough were probably my two very favorite times in professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. I really, really, really enjoyed, those two times. They were the high points of a very long career that I enjoyed the entire time.
Fantastic, Al. Just one more question, then we go into our rapid fire segment, which is a lot of fun. Gonna pick up the pace a little bit.
Okay.
Gonna pick up the heat. But Raw's 25th anniversary is coming up in a couple of months. I'm sure you've been hearing about that as much as a lot of folks have been in the industry. And you were obviously a pivotal part during that Attitude Era. Created so many hallmark moments. Looking forward to that, I'd imagine, right?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, it's a big moment. In not just wrestling, but television and pop culture and in general. To have a TV show that had celebrating the 25th anniversary, 25 continuous years on the air is absolutely amazing. So, I couldn't be happier for everyone there and everyone involved, and and everyone that's been involved, and I want to say congratulations to them all. They've certainly earned it, because it's such a monumental task to produce a live show, and a live show on that level every Monday night. 2 years. It's incredible.
Yeah, certainly Raw's 25th could use a little head, I think.
That'd be wonderful, yeah.
I think that'd be fantastic, as well as the Hall of Fame as well. I'm sure that guys talk about in the industry a lot, who's going to get in this year or what have you. But I think there's definitely a place, for Al Snow in the Hall of Fame as well.
I think there'd be a lot of people that would debate with you on that one.
Yeah. Well, hey, anything can happen in the future, right? Yeah. But Al, finishing out this in style, the rapid fire segment, kind of a short answer, type question and answer type thing here. So, Al Snow, are you ready for rapid fire?
Yeah, sure.
All right, excellent. Well, all right, craziest thing you've ever done in wrestling?
Craziest thing I ever did was I wrestled the head.
Really?
Yeah. Had several matches with Head, and Head was able to pull it out and beat me. So.
Well, that's just entertainment, to the max. I love it. Proudest accomplishment in the business?
Just having as long a career as I've had. I've been really proud of, being able to be a part of it and do what I love to do for as long as I've gotten to do it. And I just feel so grateful and so blessed that I have. I love being in professional wrestling.
Awesome, Al. And if you could do it differently now as compared to then, what would it be?
Oh, God, there are plenty. Gosh, there's tons of things that if I knew then what I know now, I would it'd take us hours to go through that. So that would just take forever.
Yeah, that'd be that'd be a long duration, perhaps. But all right.
Yeah.
So besides yourself, greatest pro wrestler today?
Today, I'd have to say, like, The Rock, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's such a great attraction, really is. So much so that, he's taking over Hollywood as well, because of it.
All right, greatest pro wrestler ever of all time.
Of all time.
That's a tough one.
Oh boy, that is a tough one. Jeez. I don't even know. I don't know where you would even start. I mean, greatest of all time. You've got me. I really couldn't even fathom. Maybe Gorgeous George, only because his name has transcended generations. If you, the casual wrestling fan, still to this day knows and remembers Gorgeous George. And it was decades ago. I'd say that'd be a testament to his ability.
Yeah, trailblazer and a trendsetter, no doubt about that, and Gorgeous George. But all right, what would you like to see more of today in wrestling? What does it need? What does wrestling need today?
More fans. We definitely need more fans. We just it would be wonderful to try to motivate and create the magic that was there, during the 80s, in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was wrestling had transcended just wrestling and became a popular, mainstream culture phenomenon.
Yeah, the 80s and certainly the Attitude Era. I mean, those eras, just boomed in terms of wrestling. But are you happy with your career at this point? I think you've had a blessed career, no doubt about it. And what's next? I mean, what's next for Al Snow?
Well, I am happy. I mean, there of course have things that I would like to have done different, taking advantage of opportunities and such, but you can't go back and, hindsight's 20/20, and, fighter pilots don't have rear view mirrors on their jets because they're only going one way. So that's the way it is for me. And what comes next, I don't know. I've got a ton of opportunities that are coming up, and we'll just see which one takes off. I'm up to bat, and there have been a lot of people pitching at me, and hopefully one of them will take off, and I'll have a brand new career that I can be as passionate about and enjoy as I did with wrestling.
Absolutely, Al. And a last quick thing on rapid fire with the holiday coming up. What are you most thankful for? I know that obviously your physique has transformed. I mean, you look like $1,000,000. Probably the best shape in your career, I would think, at this point.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I mean,
I really do.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, what are you most thankful for, though? I mean, when you look back on everything, obviously the longevity, you mentioned that, but I mean, it's not too many male or female, or any types of managers, wrestlers, you name it, have had the career that you've been able to have.
I'm very grateful for that career and for all of the amazing people I've met and the incredible things I've gotten to do. If it hadn't been for wrestling, I'd never have gotten to meet all the wonderful people I got to meet, or do all the incredible things that I got to do. It just wouldn't have happened. And I've gotten to travel all over the world, and been 6 of the 7 continents. Just recently got back from Santiago, Chile. I've been there for 3 times.
Wow.
There's not many places on the planet that I have not gotten an opportunity to go to, and I owe it all to wrestling. And I can't say thank you enough. For that, because it's directly because of being in professional wrestling and the opportunities I have with WWE. That has led to more opportunities that have taken me all over the world for that very reason. Well,
Al Snow, we want to say thank you for joining us. We're thankful that you joined us here tonight on WrestlingInc.com. And on a side note, I got to mention head cheese. That was one of my favorites ever. You and Steve Blackman. The head cheese chants were you couldn't miss them at the arenas.
Oh yeah, it was so much fun teaming with Steve. He's such an awesome guy and was such a perfect straight man to all the ridiculousness that I would do. That it worked great. It really did.
Long live head cheese, long live pepper as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
But any final thoughts about anything, about wrestling, about future with us here at WrestlingInc.com?
Well, just keep your eyes and ears open because I'm not done yet. The reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. So.
There you have it. Al Snow right here joining us on WrestlingInc.com. Al, thank you so much.
Thank you.